Have you ever wondered about a world where night never ends and we can only see the moon up in the sky? Today, we'll talk about what would happen if the so-feared nightmare moon was the governor of Equestria instead of Celestia in the universe of My Little Pony. What would be the first impact of her leadership? If you want to know more details, don't leave and come with me. Hey beautiful people, I'm Julie and I think I speak for all when I say that Nightmare Moon was one of the most iconic villains of Friendship is Magic, both because of her destructive and evil personality and her more than eye-catching beauty. Not to mention that she was the first villain to debut in G4, which helped her popularity so much that she appeared for many other times in the series. And in every other episode that Nightmare Moon appears or steers, we always want to see more details about her dark personality that by so little didn't dominate Luna's mind completely. And as you've seen in the intro and in the title of this video, would she be a better ruler than Celestia for Equestria? First of all, in order to that be possible, Nightmare Moon would have beaten Princess Celestia, her sister, and had taken over the throne of Equestria. And I bet that she would send Celestia to the moon, imprisoning her sister in the satellite so she could see from distance Equestria being embraced into the eternal night, without being able to do anything for who knows how many years. After that, the title of ruler of Equestria would go automatically to Nightmare Moon, since she is the throne's heir. This is because Nightmare Moon is the corrupted version of Luna, which means that she's still Celestia's sisters, but in her evil form. And second of all, no pony would dare to face her, right? Since we were talking about an almighty alicorn. Then Nightmare Moon would rise the moon in front of the sun, making Equestria's skies turn into night forever. And from there, we would see the pony adopting a tyrannic and totalitarian regime. She would rule with an iron fist, or better, iron hoof. And just like King Sombra, she would use fear in order to control ponies once she is the strongest around. At first, it would seem that everyone is obedient and loyal to Nightmare Moon, since all there would live under her submission in fear, creating a society of sad, oppressed ponies. And I bet that sooner or later, ponies would try to face the villain, but in the end, they would have the same fate as Celestia, banned to the moon forever, with the difference that they could die of starvation or out of breath because of the lack of oxygen on space, since regular ponies aren't as resistant as alicorns, right? Then Nightmare Moon would set these ponies as an example of what her subjects shouldn't do, discouraging any rebellion against her. But the problem is that this cruel regime wouldn't be bad because of her emotional matter, but also because of politics and climatic matters. You see, even if this eternal night is kinda attractive, Nightmare Moon would be dooming all the ponies in Equestria, since the first big impact of the inhabitants would be during the harvest. Without sunlight, plants wouldn't be able to make photosynthesis, and Equestria wouldn't grow any crops, mainly apples. Imagine how the apples' life would be without being able to sell their fruits. They would either die of starvation or try to find another way to make plants grow. Maybe using artificial light? They could try, but it wouldn't have the same effect as regular sunlight. Or who knows, the unicorns would be able to grow their crops with magic, right? Absolutely. But I think that they wouldn't be fast, since magic doesn't bring the same quality and flavor to the food. Or the unicorns would get exhausted because of the amount of magic that they would need to use to grow the crops. Mainly because not all unicorns know this kind of magic. We only need to remember that while Twilight was learning all kinds of magic just like Sunset and Starlight, there are unicorns who simply use magic to do other things, like Rarity, who uses magic to sew and create clothes, or Trixie, who doesn't even know how to use proper magic. She just creates some illusions. Another thing that lack of sunlight would cause in Equestria would be the temperature decreasing. Dude, imagine a planet that, besides being dark, is cold. I don't think think Equestria and its inhabitants are ready for an ice age and would increase even more ponies' mortality rates, since without food and heat, they will soon bite the dust, one by one. And I doubt that Nightmare Moon would be touched by that. After all, we're talking about a terrible tyrant, as horrible as Sombra. But hey, we're only halfway into the video, and it only keeps getting better. So if you're enjoying it, leave a like in the video, it helps me a lot to bring more content like this one, okay? Another negative point of the regime would be people outside of Equestria isolating themselves to avoid being targeted by Nightmare Moon. That would be really bad for business, since Equestria wouldn't be able to find any products near export anything. In other words, the ponies wouldn't be able to get no clients to sell their products and buy new ones, since no one there would be willing to face Nightmare Moon's wrath. And after all that, I said I bet that there are ponies who will comment none of this would happen in Nightmare Moon's regiment, since this was already shown in the series and everything was fine. Some people, am I right? But the truth is that we've seen a part of her reign and not the start of it. Get it? And for those who don't know what I'm talking about the scene where we see in the episode The Cutie Remark, where Starlight Glimmer modifies a Star Swirl spell, making so Twilight gets sent to an alternative version of Equestria, one worse than the last one. And in one of these timelines, Twilight and Spike see that Equestria would be if Nightmare Moon had defeated her sister and taken over the throne. In it, we see practically all the ponies have the oppressive and harsh personality, as if the lack of sun and the few hours of sleep contribute to their bad mood. And before we see Rainbow Dash got into Nightmare Moon Night Guard, did you notice that almost all guards there became bad ponies? That make me believe that this pony population would start to grow and develop just like the regular pony ones. And because of this race being more familiar with night, maybe more resistant to low temperatures, it wouldn't be a surprise if Equestria ended up being dominated by these bad ponies. This would increase the chances of ponies going extinct, because if food and sleep deprivation were already bad, now ponies would have to live with those diabolical bad ponies, who would certainly eat the rest of the food of everyone present there. And now comes the question, would Nightmare Moon have been a better governor than Celestia? Obviously not. We could clearly see the importance of a balanced leadership, filled with compassion, using ponies' loyalty to their advantage. Dude, if ponies were commanded by Nightmare Moon, we wouldn't have the most popular festivals like Heartswarming Eve or just regular festivals, because all of that would stop because an evil alicorn resulting in the most broken society of all, without a single drop of happiness or love, and even without magic. To sum it up, Nightmare Moon wouldn't be just bad, but an awful governor. Although she has many flaws, Celestia knew how to rule her subjects with love, patience, and compassion. She values harmony and union among all species. And what many don't know is that Celestia for 1,000 years waited for the release of her sister and cried almost every night for her, fearing that she would succumb to Nightmare Moon. On the other hand, the tyrant Alicorn wouldn't give a single fuck for her banished sister on the moon and the ponies there too. She would only think about power. Nightmare Moon's leadership, although it seems attractive because of the superiority vibe that it gave, seems to be a total disaster. And this thing of eternal night would only result in serious climate crisis, social and emotional problems, making her the worst possible governor of Equestria. So, did you enjoy today's video? Which part you liked the most? Tell me, I would love to know. Your participation is really important, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button in order to don't miss any new content around here. Thank you a lot for watching this video till here, and hasta la vista!